What's up, everybody? Chicago Goonie here, bringing another Arsenal talk. In this Arsenal talk, I'm going to be talking about the new signing, which is Granit Xhaka, also the new kits, and possible transfer of a Spanish striker. Just to go into our new signing, of course, all the photos were leaked on Saturday of Xhaka. I guess that's how it is pronounced. A lot of people have been going around like Twitter, Reddit, trying to get the correct pronunciation of his last name, and I guess it is Chaka. But the photos were leaked. Obviously, he was in London. He was in a new kit, no number on the back, no name on the back. He was obviously doing his normal thing that Arsenal's been doing over the last several years, is doing like a little video of welcome. It'll be like welcome Chaka, stuff like that. We've all seen those videos, so it's nice to see that certain stuff is being leaked about a signing that's incoming. I guess it's going to be announced within the next like 24 to 36 hours. They had to do the new kits first, at least the home kits prior to announcing a new signing. Um, that much was obvious, but it's nice to start getting some business done early for once. Um, the earliest that we saw over recent years was, of course, Alexis Sanchez, but that was after or a little bit before the World Cup has ended a couple of years ago, a couple of summers ago. Um, but it's nice to see that our business is getting done early, that we're really talking to players, talking to agents, trying to get a feel out, and getting them signed. Especially before the Euros. You want to try to get done. Chaka will be playing with the Swiss national team. The other name obviously is Morata. He's obviously not going to be playing for the Spanish national team, but um, certain players like a Chaka, if he has an outstanding Euros, all of a sudden his transfer fee goes up about 10 million. So it's pretty smart to try to get this deal done. Obviously, it is done. Personal terms, everything was signed off. Of course, it can't be finalized until the window is actually officially open, sometime in July, I believe. I believe it's the first week of July when the window officially opens, and of course, usually closes somewhere around like Labor Day. I believe Labor Day is somewhere around like September 6th, 7th, or something this year. So, um, looking forward to that. Looking forward, you know, it's going to be kind of like a nice summer for Arsenal fans, maybe, if we can get all of our business done early, so we don't have to really worry about anything. So we don't have to check Twitter every single fucking day and see what some of the so-called insiders of Arsenal are saying about transfers and who's coming, who's not coming, stuff like that. So it'd be nice if we can get, at least most of our business done, within the first month. If we can get it done within the next few weeks, that'd be great. At least the majority of the players that we do need. Of course, Arson said that we're only going to be signing 2 to 3 players. Hopefully, it's more than that because we definitely need more than that. Um, but going back to Chaka, just seeing what I haven't seen him play like a real game, even though at least here in the states, Fox has the uh, TV rights to the Bundesliga. Wasn't able to really watch any of the games because you know when when all these talks were really getting serious, when his name was splashed around for about a few weeks now, but we've seen it before, we've heard it before. If you're an Arsenal fan for even the last even couple of years, a lot of this transfer talk is 90% bullshit. So you never really want to take anything seriously. But with this, obviously, it's a done deal. And just watching some of his highlights and seeing what he looks like on the pitch. He's 6'1", tall midfielder, can play either the CM role or the holding role. Um, kind of hope that he's going to be playing that holding role, that deep holding role. to also to protect the back line. I think it's he looks like he's a good distributor of the ball. He can pass. Long passing is something that we've desperately needed as well. To some of those teams that do park the bus. If we regain possession in our final third, that we can have someone do those long balls other than Mesut Ozil seems like the only one that can accurately do it on Arsenal. But you want him pushed a lot more forward to try to make a counterattack happen. But with his long passing, he can go with either side of the either side of the field. You can do the straight, you can do the diagonal. Seems pretty accurate from some of his highlight tapes that I've watched. There's about four or five. Some of them are kind of like the same highlight reels, but there's two of them that are pretty much on top of the YouTube video list. That's probably like the two of the best ones where it shows. One is kind of basically like his skills and passing and assists, and then another one is his goals, assists, and some of his skills. And he seems pretty much calm and composed on the ball. It doesn't seem like he gets flustered too much when he's on the ball. Of course, with the Swiss national team, he plays as a number 10. He plays higher up the pitch rather than with Gladbach. He plays, on that deeper role, but he can bomb forward. If you watch some of his tapes or watch some of his film, he can bomb forward, and his passing is pretty precise. He has that technical skill and awareness. That's the huge thing out of a holding midfielder that you definitely want is someone who is aware of his surroundings, aware of when a counterattack is on, someone who's not going to slow down the pace, who's going to get the ball up the field as quickly as possible. Also, who can handle the ball, who can make who can make a yard for himself. Kaka can do that too. He has a little skill on the ball too, but as far as his passing goes, he's kind of limited to his short passing. He's not that great of a long passer at all, and he's been trying to incorporate that into his game. You saw it in the beginning of the season. It's just not there for him. He needs to work on that a little bit more, obviously during the summer, to try to nail that down. But again, having two holding midfielders, two uh, good holding midfielders in the squad for once is really nice. People are trying to see, who is he going to pair up with? Is it going to be him and Santi, him and Jack, him and Ramsey, him and El Nani, him and Coughlin at times? It just depends on the matchup, I think. If we're playing more defensive or playing away from home, I would love to see a Chaka and El Nani, two tall, imposing figures into that midfield. That's going to be good in the air. That's going to get those aerial duels that we're not going to have to depend mainly on like Koss and whoever Gabriel or whoever the second center back is. So we don't have to depend on them doing those aerial battles anymore. Coughlin is athletic. He's very athletic for being a holding midfielder, but he just doesn't have the height, the size to get up over maybe a tall striker to regain control or get a header to one of our other players heading up the pitch. But it just depends on the matchup. From just his highlight tapes that I've watched, would love to see him as a holding midfielder and put him next to someone who is equally or more skillful than he is. Obviously, it would be Santi. The pecking order. It depends on what we're going to do with our right wing or our left wing, depending on where Alexis Sanchez is going to play. But the pecking order right now for as far as the CM is probably Santi, Jack, and then El Nani. Um, you know, Unless they're just going to move Ramsey over to the right side or the left side as a winger, I just can't see him making it into the team or making it or even getting any type of real minutes. Um, but again, who knows with our injury record to Jack and even Ramsey. This has been Santi's kind of like first year where he's been out for a very long length of time. But again, Santi is on the wrong side of 30. So that's a concern going forward. That you want to start incorporating some of the youth in the team, like an El Nani, and hopefully that Jack can stay healthy for once for a season. But again, it's going to really depend on our matchups. If we're away from home, we're away from home in the Champions League even. You want to do like maybe a Chaka, maybe also an El Nani or a Coughlin to really shore up the defense and stay compact and stay, into that defensive mold, hopefully, that we will have going into next season. Um, One kind of surprising note is that he had another offer from a Premier League team to join them. It was even higher wages, and he decided to join Arsenal instead. Um, you know, the only names that really pop into my head that he would get another offer from is probably Man City. Yaya Toure is basically moving on after the season, supposedly. Um, you know, Ferrandino and Fernando, not a, not a great pairing as far as central midfielders. Obviously Pep's going to do the 4-2-3-1 um, when he gets to City, and that would be the only logical team that would put a bid in for Xhaka, because Pep has seen him several times over the last 3 years at Bayern. Why wouldn't you want to bring him over, knowing how good he is on the ball? Still young too as well. He's 23 years old, and he's only getting better. That's the great thing about it. But it is, if we did beat out City for his services, that's kind of like a notch in the belt for us. That's maybe sending a little bit of a message to City that we might be moving past them. That players of his caliber are choosing us over City. Especially choosing Arsene Wenger over Pep Guardiola. That's pretty surprising too. The other names were basically like Chelsea and Man United. It makes sense that for him to choose Arsenal over those two, just because we do have Champions League football. But again, if it is City, that's pretty good for us. That players of his caliber are favoring us, and maybe it's just the style too. Our style uh, may fit him better. Maybe he wants to play that deep holding midfielder role with the chance to go forward a little bit to attack and everything. And but it would be surprising if it was City, and if City did offer him more wages as well. I would definitely love to hear the um, who that other team was that was interested in him and who actually made a bid as well. But again, he chose us, which is great. Definitely, you know, I guess he's going to wear the number 34. Um, I don't understand why they just didn't put him in the number 34. Maybe it was just say, spur of the moment. Everything got finished so quickly that Puma maybe couldn't even put the name or even the numbers on the back of the shirt. Maybe they did. Who knows? Maybe they gave him another shirt at the end of the photo shoot or whatever, and they just didn't have it. They just didn't want to release what the back of the shirt looked like. Of course, with the new kits, I mean, ugly as hell. Um, what Puma's producing right now is, it just doesn't look good. That line down the center of the shirt. I'm not going to buy any of the shirts this year for the second straight year. Don't like them. Don't care for them. Um, you know, as the years go on, we have 2 more years after this year with Puma. It's a 5-year deal. I can't wait to get back to Nike or even Adidas come in and give us some shirts, because what they've produced over the last couple of years has just been dog shit in my opinion. The away kit, if that is the away kit, it looks like a darker yellow with navy blue, and it doesn't look appealing at all. And then the third kit is supposed to be almost like our third kit last year. Our third kit last year, I thought I really liked. It was mostly like a cup. It was like the blue with the neon lettering and numbers. It seems like there's more neon on this shirt than it is from the previous year. But again, it just doesn't look appealing at all. And again, that line down the center of the home shirt, I just it looks amateurish. It and that's like the only thing that's different. The pinstripes are out. It looks like the home kit, exactly like the home kit from 2 years ago that they first brought out, and all it is a fucking line, a dark red line down the center. It just looks amateurish, honestly. There was a lot of flack when it finally got released. The numbers in the name, lettering on the back of the shirt looks cool, but everything else it just looks amateurish. They didn't change the badge at all. I mean, that was the difference between Nike. Nike would change the badge up, and they would stitch it on, or they would have it pressed on, and they would change it up a little bit, at least as far as the badge and everything, so people would actually buy it. This shirt, there's no fucking way in hell. I don't care if someone gives it to me for free. That thing is just gonna sit in the closet forever because that line down that line just destroys the whole shirt altogether. And again, the second the away jersey and then the third kit just doesn't look good at all. Um, I know there was rumors even before it started last year that they're going to bring back like a tribute to Highbury. That would have been ideal. It was a 10-year anniversary that we've been gone from there. It would have been ideal to do something like that to get that kind of dark, maroon, red kit back into Arsenal, and it would just be something different. It's something that you kind of need to actually sell shirts. So I think this year Arsenal is going to be making a lot more money than Puma is. I mean, there's going to be people who are going to buy the shirt just because it is. They're kit collectors. They just buy the shirt so they can put them on display and take pictures of them and show them off. But if you buy that kit, I mean, God bless you, I guess. But it just doesn't look good at all. But to keep on with the transfer news, of course, it was leaked today as well. Seems like a lot of stuff is being leaked about our transfer window already, and again, it's Morata, who is formerly a Real Madrid player, who is currently a Juventus player. Real Madrid sold him to Juventus a couple of years back, and they have a buyout clause which is about 23 million euros that they can buy him back for at any point in time. Now, if they buy him back, I said in my last video that they're not going to sell him for anything less than 35, maybe 40. But we're hearing that uh, the the bid that they want, or the bid that Arsenal did put in for him to Real Madrid, was about 50 million euros. That's a that's a fucking huge number. That's 38 million. I think it's 38.7 million pounds. Xhaka was going to be the third highest transfer fee in Arsenal's history. Now it's almost going to look like that Morata is going to be the second highest, and then Alexis Sanchez the third, and then Xhaka is going to be the fourth now. That's a crazy number for a striker who still only has that potential tag on his forehead. He didn't have a good year this year at all. I know some things have changed. Tevez moved on. He went back to Boca Juniors in Argentina, but at the same time, he didn't have that strike partner like a Tevez who was pacey, who can really finish, who can also pass the ball. He didn't have that veteran standing next to him that had that pace and the power and the finishing. And, maybe that was a little bit of a difference, but at the same time, you're looking for a striker of his supposed caliber, of his potential to step up his game this year and score more. I think he only had 15 total goals in all competitions. 50 million euros for that's ludicrous. Um, if we're paying that type of money, then there better not be a single buyout clause from Real Madrid at all. And if they want a buyout clause, if they want to buy him back, say in 2 or 3 years, say he comes to Arsenal and he just blows up. Say next year he comes to Arsenal and he scores 31 goals. The following season he scores 35 goals in all competitions. And all of a sudden Real Madrid comes back and says, "Well, we want to buy him back." That buyback clause better be somewhere in the range of 60 to 70 million euros. Because if we're paying that type of money for a kid who still has that potential tag, who has not realized his potential yet, that buyback clause better be huge, because then it just won't even be worth our time. You know, we were in talks, I guess, a couple of years ago for Morata. You know, Arsene Wenger is very high on him. Um, you know, he has a little bit of a pace to him. He's not, he doesn't have blinding pace or great pace. He just has, he has kind of like RVP pace, where it's there, it's noticeable, but he's not going to blow anybody away. Can he blow Giroud away in a heartbeat? Yeah. He's not afraid to shoot. He can dribble a little bit. He can make like I said in my last video, he can make some dribble moves, make some space for himself, and put it in on net. And that's someone who we desperately need. And of course, um, you know, uh, he has the height to be or to have an aerial game if we can start whipping the ball in properly. Um, you know, obviously Ozil knows him. Obviously Ozil has played with him, so there's going to be a small familiarity with him, somewhat, just because he was training with the first team while Ozil was still there at Real Madrid. A little familiarity, but probably not enough to say, oh, you're on the team. Let's go wreck shit. It's just not going to work that way. But again, hopefully, you know, guys like Ozil and Alexis Sanchez and even with Xhaka coming in, on El Nani, Jack Wilshere, to provide that service that maybe he wasn't getting at Juventus. Yeah, Paul Pogba is a great CM, but at the same time, he's not going to get that final ball like an Ozil can or like a Jack can, where it's just going to be put on a plate for him every damn time. Um, but again, the money kind of scares me, but at the same time, we've been looking for a striker for all this time, and because I just can't go through another season. It seems like Giroud's going to be staying on. Obviously, he's all in the Puma ads and everything like that. I'm sure Puma, you know, asked Arsenal, is he going to stay on? Because if he's not going to stay on, we're not going to put him on in any of the ads, because it would just be a waste of time. It would look silly. It would be embarrassing. So it looks like he's going to stay on. Obviously, he's probably going to stay on just because of the simple fact that Welbeck is now not going to be back until April, and that's a hit. Seems like even Theo Walcott's going to be staying on. Supposedly Leicester City. Um, this is just a rumor, but supposedly we might be in for Mahrez, which would be fucking awesome. Um, but Leicester City wants either Theo Walcott or Oxlade-Chamberlain in return, with the transfer fee. Um, I guess Theo Walcott already said no. Oxlade-Chamberlain, possibility that we might be able to usher him out the door for Mahrez. I would take that in a fucking heartbeat. Um, it would be great to see. The Conte news has kind of simmered down a little bit since Chaka's been announced, or it hasn't been announced yet, but that he's going to be signing with Arsenal. That his noise has been calming down a little bit. So, like I said in my last video, of a rumor of all this Conte news, was that just a smoke screen for going after Mahrez possibly? I hope. There's also reports saying that Arsenal wants to buy a right back. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, just because of the fact that Jenkinson is coming back from West Ham. Or I mean, he is back from West Ham. Um, the only reason I can see Arsene Wenger going out and buying another right back is the fact that Jenkinson wants minutes, and he can't guarantee those because, well, Hector Bellerin is our first choice. And I think that's, Jenkinson did well at West Ham over the last 2 years. They loved him there. They loved his work ethic. They loved he was able to play game after game and learn how to defend and learn how to play a full season. And, that's the type of experience that you just can't mold into a player who's coming into the side. a youth player. Of course, we did it with Hector Bellerin, and that's how he's progressed over the last season and a half, is because he's gotten the experience from playing. And Jenkinson has that now. He has Premier League experience. He has a full, basically, year and a half, a little bit over a season and a half of experience with West Ham before he got injured. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that we're going after a right back, whether it be on a free or if it's maybe like some kind of grizzly veteran who's going to be okay for just being a sub or just being a squad player. But again, why are we buying these type of players? Why would we buy these type of players? We need to start getting younger. We need to start getting more athletic. We need to start, we need to get back to that. Um, like I was going to point out with the Xhaka news and even with maybe Morata, we're kind of going back to that. What worked for us in the first 9 years at Arsenal was pace and power, having big, tall, imposing figures on the pitch rather than having these short little midgets running around on the pitch. Yeah, Alexis Sanchez is he's only 5'7", but he plays like he's about like 6'5", 225, and he's just ready to run over you at any second. Um, his work ethic, and his work rate will just outshine anyone who is big, tall, imposing because he's not afraid to take on anybody. But again, it looks like we're trying to get back to that old formula that was working so well for us early. Henri, Bergkamp, Perez, Vieira, Silva. Um, you know, that's what worked. Why go away from it? Why try to change our philosophy? Why try to be more like Barcelona? Let's just be us. And I think the experiment um, didn't go well. Obviously, we only won two FA Cups in the last 12 years. Obviously, the experiment was a failure. And talking about experiments, the stuff with Morata, I'm just tired of these pet projects. Yes, Morata has experience. He's played in Serie A for the last 2 years. He got very, very little time with Real Madrid, so you can't really say he got experience in La Liga. But he got experience through Juventus, made it to the Champions League final last season. Um, won two league titles with Juventus. So he has that experience of winning. He knows how to win. He knows what a winning mentality is. So that's good on that. But again, it's still kind of, when you still have that potential tag, it's still like a pet project, and that's one of the things that Arsene Wenger loves to do is bring in pet projects, and it's like, how many years do you really have left to keep on doing these type of pet projects, to where we've seen pet project after pet project, and they fail and they fail and they fail, and the player doesn't repay the manager, and it keeps on going back and forth, back and forth. Well, there's other names to go out there and buy that are just more established, more proven. I mean, if you're telling me that if you're going to pay 50 million euros for a Morata, why not add another 10 onto it and buy Lukaku? Is Everton really going to say no to, say, 48 to 50 million pounds for Lukaku, who is more proven in the BPL? I highly doubt it. They're already putting a price tag on him for like 65 million, and that's fucking ridiculous. No one's gonna probably pay, no one's probably gonna pay that. Um, he's already said the only two clubs that he play for or move on for is Manchester United and uh, and Bayern Munich. Well, he's not going to Manchester United because the guy who sold him at Chelsea is going to be now running things um, at Manchester United, and that's Jose Mourinho. So he's not going to buy him back because he didn't believe in him, and he probably still doesn't believe in him. Bayern Munich, what are they going to buy him for? They got Lewandowski, unless Lewandowski moves on to Real Madrid, which is a rumor this summer. But again, if that happens, probably Benzema's probably going to end up at Bayern Munich, just to fill in that slot of a class striker moving into Bayern Munich, because that's what they're used to. Um, so I mean, why would Bayern Munich go out there and spend 65 million pounds or 60 million pounds for Lukaku? The price tag is ridiculous, but I mean, I'm sure if you offer them somewhere around 50 million pounds, they'd probably jump at it. that's just their what their feeler bid, and no one's going to come in with that type of bid right off the bat. Um, Another interesting note on Morata is that PSG also came into the mix as well, and they're offering even more wages, I guess, for Morata. Supposedly, the player wage for Morata too is 155 thousand pounds a week, which is fucking crazy. Okay, obviously we're gonna have to start paying these players that are coming in this type of money so they can come in. But I mean, if you're looking, obviously if Ozil signs his new contract, he's going to be making 200. Obviously you're going to want to bump up Alexis Sanchez and pay maybe around 170, 180 as well. So then the Morata deal kind of looks okay. But again, for a potential kid, 155,000 pounds a week is kind of crazy. But again, we're going to have to start paying this type of money out. But again, um, PSG came in as well, and they can offer him probably 180, 200 flat right off the gate, especially with Zlatan moving on. Who knows where he's going to go? There's a funny tweet that says, Manchester United wants my services, but I told them I don't play on Thursdays. That's probably like one of the best tweets I've seen in the last like week or two. But it seems more and more that he might be going over to China because China is just they're just paying out crazy ass wages and and transfer fees and stuff. I mean, if someone comes in for Theo Walcott for like 30 to 40 million pounds, I'd be like, see ya, Theo, see ya. You're right out the door. But that's probably all I got for right now. If anything else pops up or any kind of opinions that I got on Arsenal transfer news. But like I said, hopefully we can just get our business done early. Hopefully we can sign those 3 or 4 players before even the Euro starts up, or maybe even during. Hopefully we can sign those players so we can just all have a like nice and calm type of summer and not having to check Twitter every single fucking day and seeing who we're signing, who we're not signing, and we can just kind of like enjoy our summer and try to reboot and let the stress settle down from this like crazy ass season that we just played. But you know, you guys think if buying Morata at that number, do you even care? Do you even care about price tags? Little by little as time goes on, I'm starting not to care about how much we pay for a certain player because I just want quality players that could be coming in. I want world class players to be coming in if we can get them. It's starting to become more and more as the years go on that I don't give a shit about price tags and you know maybe I care a little bit more about this with the Morata deal, but if we don't have a buyback clause for Real Madrid, then I'll be saying, what, pay the 50 million euros and just let it go, and let's see what the kid can do in an Arsenal shirt. Because again, I'm just tired and sick of watching Giroud, and hopefully we can just bring in someone better, someone with a little bit more pace, a little bit more clinical finisher in front of net, who's not afraid to shoot, who's going to give Ozil all the tools that he's going to need to succeed even more and get the best out of him. But again, let me know in the comments if you guys care about price tags or you guys care about what players make per week. Obviously we've all kind of smashed on Theo this past year because of the amount of money he does make every week and the lack of effort that he showed this year. But that'll be it, and I'll talk to you guys later.